great speech. As I was preparing for this speech tonight, I couldn't help but think about a different message that I wanted to bring. First off, I just want to say that I'm extremely honored to be here tonight with all of you guys. You guys are my family, and I love you. But when I was asked to do this speech, I immediately thought of a Bible character. His name's David, right? David was anointed, he was gifted, and he was not perfect, unfortunately. And as I looked over this story, those were three characteristics that I find in my own life, and I find in the lives of our classmates here tonight. We are all anointed by God, our Heavenly Father. He has given us many gifts and talents that we do not even know. David was gifted, and he played the harp for King Saul, the king before him. And David was not perfect. He sinned like us. He was an adulterer, he was a murderer. But he is still considered to be a man after God's own heart. This story touches my life because I seek to be a man after God's own heart. Just like David's story, we have a story as well. Over this past year, we have, as seniors, we've had to answer a very important question. And it's basically, what are you going to do with your life? For 17 and 18-year-olds, that can be an extremely terrifying question. It was for me. When I was asked that question, I just kind of gave whoever it was a blank stare. It's like, I have no idea. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life. I'm 17. Like, how am I supposed to figure out what I'm going to do for the next however many years? But instead of asking myself, what am I going to do with my life? Tonight I'd like to ask myself and my classmates, what are you going to tell with your life? More simply put, what story is your life going to tell? See, our lives are stories, whether you have noticed that or not. Just like David, his life being a story that we can learn from today, our lives are stories as well. It's been written ever since we were born. But if you're anything like me, you're probably asking, why are stories significant? Well, all throughout school, we've just witnessed at least 4 years in high school of it. We've learned Bible stories, we learned stories from history books, we learned stories in literature and in writing, and even in science. Stories are things that teach us, inspire us, they show love, they show courage, they show passion. And these are all things that I encourage you, my classmates, to share with the world. Obviously, we only have one life. If you don't know that by now, you should probably wake up. But I say this not to encourage you to go and do crazy, wild things, to live your life like YOLO, you only have one life. But instead, I say this because God has a plan and a purpose for your life. He has equipped you with tools and gifts and talents, just like David was. As I look across this group of blue-clad students, I see doctors, I see lawyers, I see pastors, I see people who are going to change the world. All throughout the Bible, we have stories of David, Rahab, Gideon, Moses, Paul, all influential people who use their stories to impact people even today. But like I said, David didn't always have the best story. He was an adulterer, he was a murderer. Maybe your life so far hasn't gone as you planned. Maybe you've had setbacks like David. However, I encourage you to heed to the verse of 1 Peter 5:7. It says, we can cast all of our fears to God and our anxieties on God because He cares for us. Whether your life has been exactly how you expected it, or you're scared of the future, or whatever anxieties you have, you can cast them all on God because He cares for you. You have an amazing story to tell students. These past 18 years are only a fraction of your life. We stand on the threshold of our new lives right here tonight. There's a quote that I came across as I was researching for this topic. And if you don't mind, I'd like to read it for you real quick. It says, "When I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope that I would not have a single bit of talent left and could say, I used everything you gave me." And to me, that quote sums up a full life. That quote sums up a life that was filled with gifts and talents, but was used for all the purposes that it was meant for. You have gifts, you have talents, and you will have struggles. But I challenge you to use those gifts and to use those challenges and learn from them to become the men and women that God has called you to be. I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for my time that I spent at the King's Academy. And I could not leave here without encouraging you to go out into the world and use those gifts, use those talents that you have to make a difference, to live a full life, to create an amazing story that can inspire, teach, show love, show passion to others around you. I'm honored to be here tonight with you. I thank all of my friends and family at the King's Academy for all that they've done. And again, I challenge you guys to live that life of purpose, to tell that story, to write your story. Make it a full life. Thank you.